hopefully hopefully a couple more people show up. But for everybody who doesn't know, we have Brennen Nading talking today of the Breaking Point, and I asked him to come on, just sort of tell his story and the story of coming up in the outdoor industry, and then talking about how to maybe if you're interested getting into filming your own hunts and just sort of what it's like working in the outdoor industry, and can answer any questions that um, we have. We don't have many people here, so if you have a question, probably just feel free to speak up. If not, you can type it in the chat, and either Max or myself can answer it. But yeah, you can take it away, Brennan.
Yeah, I guess I don't know if you guys just want to do this like a Q&A, or if you guys just want me to ramble. I mean, what are you guys thinking?
Sure. I guess you can start by just saying who you are and a little about yourself and kind of about the Breaking Point, and then I know myself personally, I have a few questions about the outdoor industry and stuff that I'd like to ask, and I think a couple other guys
Okay.
mentioned they have some questions too. So kind of keep it an open discussion.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, yeah, I am as Sam said, I am Brennen Nading. I grew up in excuse me, I grew up in West Central Wisconsin, in a small town called Sparta, just down the road from La Crosse, which I'm sure a lot of you are more familiar with. Good bar life there. Um, anyway, I went to school at UW, graduated in 2010. Went to school for wildlife management. Um, Came out of school, landed a couple of jobs. They were all 6-month positions in the wildlife field. I actually worked out at Fort McCoy for the wildlife department, I think for 4 years, but they were all temp jobs, 6 months on, 6 months off. So I would work out there for 6 months, and then I would work construction for 6 months, and that went on for a while. And then 2013 came along, and I decided to pack my bags and move to Iowa so I could get a resident deer tag every year, because I absolutely am torn up with whitetails. Like, there's nothing like it in the world by far. I mean, it doesn't matter. Elk, any of those big game animals, as far as I'm concerned, whitetails take the cake. But kind of backtrack, I met a guy while I was in college, Mike. If you guys watch the show at all, Mike Mansell, him and I kind of met by dumb luck. It's actually over a bet in the dorms, and we were highly intoxicated. But we actually made a bet on who could kill more turkeys in the spring. And we kind of had some buddies that were stirring the pot. I was over in one dorm hall or up on the 3rd floor, and he was down on the 1st floor. And we kind of had some mutual friends that were, oh yeah, this guy down on the 1st floor, he kills way more turkeys than you do, blah, blah, blah. They're going down and saying, oh yeah, this guy up on the 3rd floor kills way more turkeys than you do. And they're just stirring the pot. And me and Mike run into each other at a party one night. And we're both pretty lit. And we decided to bet a half barrel on who could kill the most birds that spring. And I think between the two of us, we ended up killing, it was a 24, 26 birds or something like that. And then after that, we're like, shit, we should probably start hunting together. Both of us at the time were already filming our hunts, but we were just doing it for fun and weren't really doing anything with the footage other than showing, family and friends. And so, yeah, that's how we kind of started hooking up and hunting and filming together. And so that went on for the next couple of years while we were going to school. And we get out of college and we continued to hunt and film. And at that time, we decided to put out a couple of DVDs, and we just sold them locally in sports shops and whatnot. And I think we probably sold around 300 or 400 DVDs a year. It wasn't anything crazy, but it was a start. And after that, we kind of sat back, and both of us in the meantime had gotten good jobs, and we're like, what the heck are we doing? We're spending so much time and money traveling and hunting, and we love doing it, but at the same time, like, we gotta figure this out. Like, gotta take this to the next level. And it was at that point in time where, like, we either throw it in and say, the heck with this filming stuff, or you know, we try to, break into the industry. And I mean, we got turned down by, I can't tell you how many people, trying to get funding from, brands in the industry, trying to get some backing to, fund this stuff. Cause it's not cheap to do all this stuff. And we just kept grinding. And then that's about the time we aired on Sportsman's channel. I think our first 2 years, not Sportsman's, I'm sorry. We aired on Pursuit channel the first 2 years. And, about that time, TV was actually starting to fall off and digital streaming was starting to take off. And we were actually one of the first shows that said just the hell with TV, and started putting our stuff on every digital streaming platform that we could find, from Facebook to Instagram, Carbon TV, Waypoint TV, Amazon, Roku, anything we could get on, we were getting on. And that was the best move we've ever made, because all the clients and people that we work with just ate that up, because that's where the eyeballs were. And our analytics showed it. I mean, our numbers just skyrocketed when we went from TV to digital, and it's just been a work in progress. We added on, after I think season 2 or 3, we met another guy through Stevens Point, Dylan Lenz, and we brought him on, and he actually became our first full-time employee after filming with us for a few years. We were in the position where we could hire him on full-time. So he was our first full-time employee. And yeah, Mike and I continued to work our jobs until finally we got to the position where we could hire on Mike. So Mike went full-time. Now we had 2 full-time employees. And then I think a year and a half later, we were in a position where I was able to walk away from my job and do this full-time. And it's been a blessing.
Awesome. That's a cool story. That's not what I was expecting, but yeah, that's pretty sweet. I guess one question I had, so I found you guys, I don't know, X amount of years back, like on YouTube. And I guess you kind of already answered the question about, I was gonna ask about like the big outdoor sportsman channel compared to the streaming services, but you sort of already covered that. But one question I have is just, I know obviously money's not everything, but you still have to like be able to support yourself. Does, for people like you guys and people that have other shows, is all like income coming from sponsors and deals with companies pretty much, and
That's
advertisement?
that's a good question. So when we started this thing, Mike and I formed an LLC, Black Stamp Media, and the Breaking Point is kind of just our passion project. Always has been, always will be. But within Black Stamp Media, we do a lot of work outside of the outdoor industry. We do media coverage for like country music festivals. We've filmed music videos. We do weddings. I mean, stuff that isn't, as appealing, but it pays the bills. And we figure we got the equipment to do it. Let's do it. And I mean, as far as like percentage wise, I would say, the money that we're bringing in from partners is probably, you know, roughly 50% of, what the business would bring in as a total.
Gotcha. Very cool. Um, so you said, I know you guys do a lot of like the turkey stuff too, but you said whitetail is your passion. Um, a lot of us, I mean, being going to school in Madison, it's kind of tougher for us to get out around the immediate area. I guess we're lucky we have contact with a couple landowners who let people from the hunting club bow hunt just west of Madison. But when you were in college, I guess, do you have any tips and tricks, or what your ideal go-to was for bow hunting, I guess?
I guess I guess I was pretty lucky in that aspect. I mean, I only lived about an hour and a half from college. So it seemed like about every weekend I was driving back and hunting at home. But Mike actually lived even closer. He lived within a half hour. And so him and we would hunt during the week. A lot of the time we would go over and hunt his family ground. And then we'd also mess around in right there in Stevens Point. We'd, hunt some public ground. But
Sure. Yeah, I'm from
man,
Stevens
I,
Point.
I would say
Yeah.
I would say, and I don't know anything about the Madison area as far as how hard it is to get on ground. I would imagine it's kind of hard, but just beat those doors down. Just keep knocking. I mean, the worst somebody can say is no.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. I guess people,
Especially with turkeys. I mean, farmers don't give a shit about turkeys. They just tell you to shoot them all.
right, right. Yeah, I feel it's a little more intimidating, or for their standpoint, saying for deer hunting compared to turkey hunting, I guess.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I'm from the Stevens Point area, so I probably hunted a lot of that public stuff that you guys are talking about. So
Yep. I guess I don't really have any secrets about the spots. We messed around over by the airport up there quite a bit.
oh, sure, sure. Yeah, I
We
would
never
probably,
killed any
sure.
Never killed any big bucks, but we killed quite a few deer.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I guess I know some of us in the club have been starting to dabble in just self filming. Um, do you have, like, do you just want to kind of touch on your first camera setup and the amount of money you spent on that, or did you go out with pretty much the bare minimum and just sort of work your way up from there?
So my parents, I think I was probably 14. Yeah, right around 14 years old. I just I just begged my parents for a video camera. I was just ate up with watching like Bill Jordan's Monster Bucks, VHS tapes, and I just wanted my own video camera, and I wanted to be able to go to the woods and come back and show people what I was seeing. And so I begged and begged, and my parents finally got me it was like a little handy cam. It actually recorded on mini DVDs, which is, looking back, to transfer all that footage was an absolute pain in the ass because those mini DVDs were not around very long. But that kind of got me hooked because I would go to the woods, and a lot of the times I'd catch myself, having a hard time to take my hands off the camera to grab my bow because I was enjoying just filming everything. Kind of got into you guys still hear me good?
Yeah, I do now. I think you cut out for a couple
Sorry
seconds.
about that.
All good.
Someone must have been trying to tap into my hotspot. What did you get, or did you not get any of that?
I we got to the part where you kind of were saying it's the video camera that filmed on the little DVDs.
Okay. I got you. Yeah, so that little camera there, I just started filming it, anything and everything, every time I'd go to the woods, and I just thought it was the coolest thing to be able to come home and show my family, what I was seeing out there. And after that, I started hunting with buddies, and then we started filming, turkey hunts is where it kind of began with the filming, and that kind of led into deer hunting. But the camera I started with was probably $400 or $500 if I had to guess. Like I said, it was gifted to me from my parents. But then must have been right around when I started college. I got my first HD camera, and I thought I was big shit. And it was one of those big ass HD 1000U Sonys that you rock up on your shoulder. Like, I mean, this sucker was huge, but that's when I felt like I made it. Like when I got that camera. And I mean, the footage now, looking back, the video quality is just terrible. But it was awesome. I mean, we took that thing everywhere, and then Mike ended up buying one of those, and that's kind of what we started with. And then I don't know, we must have been 2 or 3 seasons into the breaking point when the SLR uh, kind of became a thing, and that's when everybody started going to the more compact handheld cameras, and we jumped on that train, and we're still riding it.
Nice, nice. Yeah,
So kind of on that,
yeah, go ahead, Max.
topic, like, I don't know, I've always kind of wanted to get into filming hunts, but don't really. I mean, I guess I haven't done a ton of research, but I don't really know where to start with. So what would you like recommend starting with? Basically right now I've just kind of got a GoPro is all, and I want to get some other nicer camera.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff out there for relatively cheap. If you're going to be self-filming, or if you're just getting into it, I would recommend something like a Canon G20, or Sony makes a similar camera, but they're just, they're HD cameras that record to a memory card, and they put out high quality footage. I think they're probably, most of them are 1080, and they're super simple to use. They got good zoom, good photo quality, not photo quality, good video quality. And as far as like the SLRs go, that's kind of, the next step up. You got to worry about a lot more functions, a lot more buttons, a lot more manual stuff. But there's a lot of, I mean, if you guys want, just hit me up and I'd be glad to throw some recommendations for starter cameras. But yeah, that's kind of what I would recommend.
And then kind of also pegging off that, like with the camera, what else do you need? Is it like you just need a camera? I would assume you probably need like some sort of camera arm or something if you're gonna do it, especially self-filming.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. If you're hunting out of a tree, a camera arm. We all use muddy arms for the most part, relatively inexpensive, and they get the job done. If you're hunting off the ground, turkey hunting or whatever, you just want to get a decent tripod with a fluid head. Same with the tree arm. Anytime you're running a tripod or a tree arm, you're going to want to throw a nice fluid head on there, because that's going to give you that nice smooth pan versus jerking all over the place. But then you can get, I mean, as crazy as you want when it starts getting into audio and wireless mics and all that stuff. That's, I mean, the sky's the limit there.
Sure. Definitely. I guess one thing I really kind of always liked the breaking point is because I feel you guys kept it legit and like kept it real compared to, or doing like all these hunts yourself compared to going to like big outfitters and doing like the DIY hunts. Is that just something you guys take pride in, or do you think the breaking point will transition into doing some like big outfitter stuff, or do you guys kind of prefer the let's do this on our own and keep it legit, I guess?
Yeah. No, I mean, we definitely take pride in that. We are not, I mean, I've been to I think one outfitted hunt in my life, and it was still kind of a DIY. I don't know if anyone else has been to a outfitted hunt. I just did that to shoot an antelope because I'd never shot an antelope before. But as far as like, if an outfitter called me up and said, "Hey, come on this elk hunt, don't worry about the cost." Don't get me wrong, I'd go and do it. But no, we definitely take pride in the do it yourself. We obviously hunt all of our family ground. We're pretty fortunate to all have some kind of tie to land, it seems like, whether it's our grandparents or our parents or uncle or somebody, we all hunt that ground. But we also do a lot of public land hunting out of state. And we've also acquired ground through door knocking and stuff like that. And yeah, we definitely take pride in not being those shows that go to, big outfitters, for sure.
Sure. And getting like just touching on like the out of state stuff, I know a lot of our club members are pretty active like Onyx Hunt users. And let's say you're headed to, I know you guys started hunting like Oklahoma and places like that. are you guys just studying plat books and online research, doing online research before you go, or like when you say, oh, I want to go hunt X state, what's like the first steps or how do you like break it down, I guess?
You're going to laugh at this one. So what we do typically is we'll take, either base map which is similar to Onyx, and we'll go through and we'll just start looking up landowners. We'll find parcels that look decent, from the aerial view, and then we'll look up their names, and we'll find websites online where we can dig up phone numbers, and we just start calling, and we call hundreds of people. And this sounds terrible, but we target ladies between that 60 to 80 range, and we just hammer them. I know this sounds bad, but that's what we do, and we've had good luck with it. I know you mentioned Oklahoma, and that's how we lucked out down there, is we just started blowing the phone up. I mean, I will sit down. Mike does a lot of it too, where he'll go through and he'll just start sending me screenshots of chunks of land and phone numbers, and I'll go through and I'll make like a freaking directory, and then I'll set aside a day. I'll just call 100 people, 200 people, and I'll get told, no, how the hell did you get my number? Most of the time. But then you get that one person that's like, yeah, I think we could do that. And then you just, turn it into a friendship. And it's, that's kind of what we do. I mean, as far as getting on private land stuff, because you can't always just drive to Oklahoma and knock on doors. I mean, takes up a lot of time, so we try to blow the phones up for sure.
Oh yeah, that's cool. That's fun. That's funny you said that because the lady that gave us or the hunting club permission to hunt west of Madison is like 87, just a sweet old lady. So
yep.
When you introduce yourself, like knocking on doors or calling on the phone, like do you tell them like you're with the Breaking Point or that you're on
Absolutely not.
Show?
Nope. We don't tell them we're filming. We just say, hey, I'm out of state. I live up in Iowa, which is where I'm at now, and just looking to expand my hunting season and trying to get into, let's just say, Oklahoma. I've heard that there's good hunting down there. Never been down there, just wanting to check it out, looking, calling around and seeing if I can find anywhere to hunt. And it's about how it goes. I definitely don't mention the show.
Sure. I got another question kind of more on the tech side of it. Like, how long does it take for you guys to edit one of your videos? So they're well done. Props to you guys.
Yeah, all credit there goes to Mike and Dylan. Mike and Dylan have edited. We outsourced our first season of the Breaking Point to another guy in Stevens Point that actually knew how to edit, because we had no clue. And Mike and Dylan have pretty much taught themselves over the years, and they have definitely, they're phenomenal in my opinion. I know I'm biased, but those guys have gotten damn good, and I don't think they've done anything other than watch YouTubes to learn to get to where they're at with editing. And now JP, if you guys follow the show, JP, he's going to get pretty good too. But I don't edit. I tried it and I'm terrible, and I watch what Mike and Dylan do, and then I try to turn something out, and I'm just like, I'm light years behind these guys. I can't catch up.
Yeah, that's cool. I know I had a couple classes with Dylan Gulig. Yeah, I don't even know if that's how you say his last name.
Yeah,
few years back, because we were both in the engineering program, and I always knew that he was I'm like, oh, I need to become friends with that guy. But you just want to just tell the story how you added him and his buddies, I guess, to the Breaking Point.
Yeah. So last year, I think it was last year. Last winter, we decided that with being digital, it always used to be on TV. You needed to get 13 episodes. That's what you needed to have a season on TV. So that was always our goal, 13 episodes. Well, now that we're on digital, the more the merrier. So we wanted to put out, 15, 20 episodes and put out as much content as we could. So we're like, let's try to find some other people that are, similar to us. If you watch our show, we kind of just, we're ourselves. We don't put a face on for the camera. We're just guys that like to hunt, like to drink beer. And that's who we are. And so anyway, we decided we were going to add more people if we could find the right people, and try to put out even more content. So we ran a draft and we put it on Facebook and Instagram, and pretty much to submit to the draft, you just had to put a 60-second video together and more or less a highlight reel. And then we had a questionnaire that we had them fill out, as far as like, where are you from? How many, where have you hunted? Where do you have intentions of hunting in the next 2, 3, 4 years, whatever? What kind of video equipment do you have? And Dylan Gulig, which we call him Goulash. We have a nickname for everybody on the crew. So Dylan Goulash, he puts in a submission, and what kind of set him apart was we asked for, pretty much groups of 2, so you could hunt and film together or whatever. So we didn't have to babysit. And they put in as a trio. It was him and Hunter and Brandon. And those guys all grew up eastern Wisconsin, over by, I think, St. Cloud, New Holstein, over in that area. And they put together a really good video, and they actually have been working a little bit with Midwest Whitetail a couple of years prior, leading up to this draft or whatever. And they definitely stood out in the group. And that's kind of how that started. We seen their submission and met those guys, and we're like, yeah, these guys they'll fit right in. And it kind of went from there.
Nice. I guess another question I have, it's sort of maybe a little off topic, but I would like to ask a couple of our speakers. I know us being in Madison, the hunting population in Madison compared to the rest of the state of Wisconsin is definitely not as great. Have you guys felt any backlash really from non-hunters? Or if so, have you guys had to really deal with anything, or how maybe you have dealt with it, if you have gotten any backlash, I guess?
Yeah. On so, it doesn't matter what you're doing. There's always going to be people that are pissed off about something. And, outside of social media, I wouldn't say that we ever get much for backlash, but you always get people on social media that are chiming in, and we usually kill it with a good GIF.
Yeah, sure. And I guess on top of that, like social media and hunting, I love it. Pretty much everybody I follow on Instagram is outdoor fishing or hunting. But I do know there's some hunters and fishermen out there that might not give the best look about hunting on social media and stuff. I don't know if you have any opinions on that, or you have I'll call them the righteous hunters that badmouth people for shooting this or not shooting that. Do you think social media is benefiting or negatively impacting hunting? I guess depends.
I guess there's
situation.
Yeah, I guess there's probably good and bad. There's just, what social media does to hunting is it makes everybody kind of feel smaller, because you go on there and it's just 150-inch buck, 150-inch buck, 150-inch buck. Well, then you go to the woods and you're like, well, I'm not going to shoot anything unless it's 150 inches. And I think that is what hurts hunting the most when it comes to social media. Because if you watch our show, we shoot more 115, 120-inch deer than anybody. And we love doing it, and we're going to continue to do it, because that's what, drives us as hunters. We're going to shoot what makes us happy. And a lot of times on social media, people set that bar too high, I feel like, and it takes away from the experience, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think pretty much everybody here would. But yeah, definitely growing up hunting. Well, I knew like I came from a hunting family, and I think a lot of people have. But if you didn't, I feel it would be almost more daunting to get into hunting, seeing, oh, look at all these giant bucks. And then you go hunting, it's like, oh, you're not going to see one of those. Maybe not all
Absolutely.
season. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right. But does anybody else have any questions that they'd like to ask?
Yeah, I have a quick question. I know you kind of touched on this already, but like, what's the best way to go about like actually getting permission to hunt different pieces just from landowners?
I would say, I mean, if you're in the area, like if you're looking like locally, I've had the best luck just going and knocking on doors. Just try to, if you've got, an app like Base Map or Onyx, try to find landowners, maybe target a few different pieces that you're trying to get permission on, and just go and knock on their door. Typically I'll go knock on a door wearing like jeans and a flannel. I don't want to look like, a college kid. I kind of want to look like a farm boy, more or less. And I would definitely use like, hey, I'm in the area for school. I can't get back to my family's property or whatever, and I'm just looking for somewhere to hunt. But if you're looking for like out of state stuff, like I said, I would just start, using those online resources, finding landowners' names, digging up their phone numbers, and just keep calling. You cannot, when you're trying to get permission, you cannot let somebody, when somebody tells you no, you can't let that get in your head, because they're going to tell you no 90% of the time. But when you get that one yes, it's worth it. I mean, it just escalates from there.
Yeah, it's sort of going on that. One question I have is like, let's say somebody does say yes. Do they oftentimes, is it yes, you can hunt, just let me know when you're coming and leaving, or let me know when you're here? Do they want you to help out on their land or give them some venison, or have you sort
Yeah,
of
I
dealt
mean,
with all that?
every instance is a little bit different. I mean, I've had my best luck, once you get permission from somebody, I like to stop in and visit, especially if it's like an older, couple or older widow or whatever. I mean, if you stop in there and visit with them for 10, 15 minutes, that is just, you're in like Flynn. I mean, it's a little bit of, going over and out of your way and visiting with older people, if you get permission, or younger people for that matter, just taking the time out of your day to go and visit with these people. And, out of state stuff, we take a lot of like spotted cow and cheese. Like when we go to states like North Dakota or down south, Kansas, stuff like that, landowners that get real Wisconsin cheese and like spotted cow beer that they can't anywhere else. Like that's the stuff people remember. They don't necessarily want a gift card or money or anything like that. It's when you bring them something that they can't, get their hands on themselves. And like I said, visiting, conversations, that stuff goes a long, long ways.
Sure. Sounds good. Um, yeah, I don't have any more questions. Does anybody else have any? I don't want to keep you too long. I know you're driving home. But
I'm good. I'm good. If you guys got questions, I'm in no rush.
I guess one question I have, because I was saying how my first experience with the Breaking Point was on YouTube. Is there a platform that you prefer? Maybe like you guys make the more money off, that you want us to watch your stuff on, or is it, as long as we're watching it, it's a good thing?
Watching it's a good thing, but YouTube is, we kind of got in the game late on YouTube. So we're still, I think we're sitting around 10,000 subs right now, but that's where we're putting a lot of our attention right now, is YouTube. So I would say if you're going to pick one of the platforms, I'd say YouTube.
All right. And I mean, for in my opinion, I mean, I've done the carbon TV stuff. I think YouTube is still the easiest. Type it in and pops up.
Yep. Yeah, we've actually pulled off a carbon TV. There were a few things going on over there with swapping owners and stuff, and it kind of got messy. But we actually left there. We do also air on, I don't know if you guys watch on Waypoint TV at all. We actually do massive episode drops on Waypoint versus YouTube. YouTube, we do a weekly episode. Platforms like Waypoint, we're throwing all of them at once. So like our turkey stuff, we just dropped the first episode of our new season yesterday on YouTube, but we dropped half of the season over on Waypoint. So there's 5 new episodes on Waypoint right now, and then there's 4 more coming here in about 2-3 weeks.
Sure. Was it worth the move to Iowa? Is the deer hunting that much better in Iowa than Wisconsin?
It's unbelievable. It is. I mean, I grew up hunting in Wisconsin, and I was lucky enough to always have some family land, and I had uncles and my grandparents, and always had private land to hunt on. So I didn't have to mess around with public too much. I still did, but not a lot. And I had a buddy drag me to Iowa back in 2011-ish to go shed hunting. And I think it was a 3 or 4 day trip, and that was all it took. Like, I seen what I needed to see. I was moving. Like a year and a half later, I was gone. Like, it's awesome.
Sure. I guess you just brought up shed hunting. Is there, I know you guys do a lot of shed hunting. I try to do some, but it's me more just going out for a walk in the woods. Do you guys have certain areas or places you want to try to focus on when finding those sheds?
Yeah, I mean, it really comes down to doing your homework, and then getting lucky enough to get in the areas where the deer are. A lot of people take for granted, everybody knows that March rolls around, you can find sheds. There's sheds in the woods. People get out, walk looking for them, but most people don't take the time in late January, and the month of February to see where those deer are, because where the deer are in March, when it finally gets nice, that might not be where they were when they lost their antlers. And a lot of the times people don't realize that. So really it's scouting, a lot of driving around and finding big herds. Like, I don't like to shed hunt a farm unless I know they were stacked in there. So I'm not going to go knock on someone's door if I see 5 deer in the field. I'm looking for 50, 60, 70 deer in the field before I'm even going after them. Because, I mean, to pick up a shed, there's got to be quite a few deer in the area. And that's the same thing. A lot of the stuff I shed hunt, I have no hunting permission. I don't turkey hunt it. I don't deer hunt it. I'm like strictly asking permission to look for deer antlers. And a lot of the times my best luck is with farmers, because you can pitch it to them that you're going to save them a $2,000 tractor tire. And that's my go-to with farmers. And usually farmers don't really care unless they've got somebody in the family that looks for them. But yeah, I mean, I drive a lot of miles trying to locate deer to put myself in a good position to pick up antlers.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, that's a good point. You'll see them in March, but that's probably not where they were when they dropped their antlers. So
for sure. It's really like pretty much, I mean, if you're going to cut it even down closer, I mean, pretty much in Wisconsin, like where the deer are between February 5th and the 25th, like those 20 days right there, the 5th to the 25th, that's when 75% of deer in Wisconsin are going to drop their antlers.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, sounds good. Anybody else have any questions? If not, thank you very much, Brennen, for coming to talk. I dropped all the Breaking Point social media stuff on our club's Facebook page, so hopefully you'll gain a few more subscribers, and I'm guessing a lot more club members will watch the recording and stuff. So yeah, I just wanted to
Awesome.
say thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. Thanks, guys. I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
For
sweet.
sure.
Well, good luck this spring turkey hunting, and yeah, maybe we'll
sure.
have you back on next semester to talk again at the club.
Sounds good. Yeah, anytime, guys.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you. We'll see you.
Mm-hmm. And
And
yeah, Max, do you want to talk to the club before they go? If you're gonna give away.
You guys good?
Yep,
Yep.
we're good.
All right. See you guys later.
Yeah, see ya.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah, there you. Max, I don't know if you want to just. So for the people that show up, the club is gonna give away Cabela's gift card. It's kind of on Max, so I guess Max, if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, it's not too complicated here. You show up, your name gets put in this randomizer here. I can share my screen in just 1 second. And yeah, let me know if your name's missing. I think I got everyone here. And then
You can put your own name in, Max.
all right. And yeah, we'll hit the randomize button and see what happens. Or I need to allow cookies. Random order, number 1, Jack. There you go. Won yourself a Cabela's gift card.
Nice. Jack, so if you just want to put your number in the chat and Max can get a hold of you or whatever.
Yeah, name or yeah, probably email, number, whatever
Or
you want.
email.
However you want me to get a hold of you, it would be best.
But yeah, sounds good. Thank you everybody for coming. Sorry it was a little short notice on getting a speaker. That's why maybe the turnout wasn't the greatest, but just a heads up, next Thursday, I'll be sending